Lifetime welcomes you to a live presentation of the National Women's Soccer League. The Portland Thorns continue to dominate and made history by becoming the first NWSL team to reach 50 wins. Behind the non-stop attack of Christine Sinclair, Nadia Nadim, and Lindsay Horan, the Thorns look to deepen their grasp on the postseason and battle for the best record in the league.
Horan once again for Portland.
In a frustrating season for the Washington Spirit, there have been signs of what is possible. With Mallory Pugh leading the attack, this Spirit team is motivated for a statement upset. It's the NWSL on Lifetime. The Thorns versus the Spirit, live.
We are ready for an early kickoff from Providence Park in Portland, Oregon, due to extreme temperatures expected in the area. So keep an eye on that temperature as the Portland Thorns want to continue their great form at home and make a push for the playoffs, hosting the Washington Spirit. Jen Hildreth, Allie Wagner, Dallin Cuff here with you. And Allie, as we take a look at the starting lineup for the Portland Thorns, no Haley Rasso. She is out on yellow card accumulation. Allie Long up top.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting move by Mark Parsons, but she's going to be in a free roll today. We're used to seeing her deeper in the midfield. Now she's got that free roll, false nine. We'll see how she can imprint herself further up the field today.
And for Washington, the Spirit officially eliminated from the playoffs, but still a lot to play for, especially looking forward. And they'll have Pugh and Bonini up top.
Yeah, it's all about dashing someone else's hopes at this point for Washington Spirit. They're going to look to keep it tight and hit Portland on the break.
Katya Koroleva, our referee, getting things started. The Thorns winning 5 in a row on their home field, have had 8 different goal scorers in that stretch, so a pretty varied attack. Washington, the visitors, coming in white and navy. Portland in their home reds. This is the third meeting of the season between these two teams, each picking up a win on their home field, and both 1-goal affairs.
And this is a Spirit team that thinks they actually match up pretty well and know how to play this Portland Thorns team. We'll see how they approach the match, but by all accounts from Jim Gabera, it's going to be sitting tight, looking to play on the break, and making it very difficult for Portland to find space in between the lines today.
Caprice Tedesco, number 3 for Washington, and a back line that has been affected by more injuries. Estelle Johnson now out, most likely for the remainder of the season, after getting injured in Wednesday's match. This is the 3rd match in a week for Washington.
And coming into this house in your 3rd game, sizing up against this Portland team, tall task.
Alyssa Kleiner getting the start on the back line and getting forward in this instance for Washington. Dallin Cuff down on the sidelines. Dallin, I know you're going to be keeping a close eye on that temperature. And we apologize for some technical difficulties. We'll get back to Dallin in just a few moments.
I thought that was his best work.
Figured you'd have some sort of commentary on that. Havana Salon passing it back to Kleiner. Shalina Zadorsky at one of the center back spots, wearing the captain's armband, number 4 for Washington. Amandine Henry, the French international, coming in as she gets fouled.
And here's a look at Portland, just trying to lock Washington in on the flank. Henry comes in, picks that ball off, and earns herself a free kick from a deep spot.
Be Emily Sonnet to take it for Portland. Player who has played every minute of this season for the Thorns. There is the service. A beautiful ball. Herachich up and then does have it. But Didi Herachich, who gets her 3rd straight start in goal for Washington, an early challenge.
And a decent ball in sent by Sonnet. You could see early on, Ali Long was getting in that space saying, play the ball in this little area, and that's where she flighted in. It just had too much loft on it for Heritage to come out and claim it.
Here is Benini. Now to Tori Huster. Shayna Williams, mistouch there, but she has been fantastic the last few games for Washington. A real bright spot in a tough stretch for the Spirit. Just one win in their last 10 matches. Nice ball over to find Ashley Sykes. Australian will send it across. And now let's try this again. Dallin, are you with us?
I am here, Jen, and yes, it is quite warm down on the field. As we know, we'll have a hydration break here in the 30th minute. The procedure, though, if it gets over 95 degrees, this game could change. It could go into delay. We find out right as the whistle blows at the end of the first half. They'll take a reading at midfield. If it's above 95, we go into a 30-minute delay, and then we'll have another reading every 30 minutes until it goes back below 95 degrees. We're in the green right now, but we'll see how things progress. One note, tactically talking to Mark Parsons, he said that they're not going to play any differently regardless of the heat. He wants to keep the tempo high because Washington is playing their third game in the week, and they've come to the West Coast. He wants to keep this high. He thinks they can only go about 50 to 60 minutes.
Great stuff, Dallin. Thank you. We'll see how that plays out, Allie.
And the approaches that you would expect from two coaches that understand the big picture with their teams. Great cover there by Mangus.
Emily Mangus has been so solid along that back line for Portland, one that has been excellent this season. Just 19 goals conceded for Mark Parsons' side. That is second best behind just the 16 that the first place North Carolina Courage have let into their goal.
And I go back to the beginning of this season, and we thought that Portland looked very leaky defensively, that they were coughing up opportunities. And I am surprised to be sitting here as the weeks are winding down saying, look, they've only conceded the second least goals in the league. That shocks me.
Oh, I thought you talked to Jim Gabera, head coach for Washington, on the game about that. And I thought he had a good point, just bringing up really the experience and the consistency they've been able to have along that back line.
And of course, you know, the personnel is a piece to that too. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that was the main reason he thought this group has been able to limit so many opportunities for the opponent. Having said that, he believes there's opportunities to get at them offensively and force some of those errors.
Megan Klingenberg has been a fixture there at the outside back spot as Lindsay Horan picks it back up, finds Christine Sinclair.
You can see Ali Long's playing on this right side where Raza would be playing, but it's the freedom rule, so she can go where she likes to imprint herself on this game, be creative higher up the pitch.
Possession really in favor of the Spirit in these early moments, as now Adriana French takes over. And in the other goal, we mentioned Didi Hericic making her third straight start, fourth in the last 5. Canadian goalkeeper Stephanie Labe is out with an excused absence. That's all we've been told from the team. This will be the third straight match that she has missed. And we do have a feature coming up at halftime where she talks pretty openly about some of the issues she has had. At the moment, Hericic may have an issue if Portland can make something of this, but Nadia Nadim, Danish international, couldn't hang on. Maggie Doherty Howard, the rookie, who's been so important in the midfield. What a season she has had in her first year in the NWSL, number 29 in white.
And the calmness that she brings to that midfield as a rookie is something special, and her awareness. And when we talked to her this week, along with Jim Gabar, who you see on the screen now, it was all about the evolution that she's had as a player and the decision making. It's learning how to set up your players better. It's learning how to dictate the tempo at this level. So different from the collegiate game.
And here's Mallory Pugh. Bypassed her college experience to come play pro, try to make an impact, but it's been a rough season in Washington. Record of just 4-12-4. Wins have been hard to come by for the Spirit team, but they have been so close in so many. Missed pass there from Horan.
Pugh's an interesting one because I thought she was going to have more of a mark this season as a rookie. I just think she's one of those players that needs more pieces around her than she currently has. And yes, she's capable of lifting a team all on her own, but I do think it will be suited better when she can get some players around her, take some of the pressure off.
And part of that is due to the injuries that this Washington Spirit team has had to deal with. Now, every team has injuries, as you see, Mallory Pugh. 14 players have missed at least one game with injury for Washington this season, 11 of them starters. And if you just go back to Wednesday, they lose Estelle Johnson, who's been a mainstay on their back line. Franny Ordega, Nigerian international, who's so electric up top, tried to come back after she'd been out, and she was hurt again. Now she's maybe done for the rest of the season. So it's just been that kind of a year for Washington.
I mean, there's not much you can say. You laid it out, Jen. I mean, this team has been hit, and they've been hit when they've been down, and they've been hit over and over again. And what you like to see out of a group, though, is the way they react. And you don't see any layoff in their approach into these matches. There's a team camaraderie and a work ethic that's been consistent regardless of who steps on the field. So that's important. Shows the character of these players.
Haracic getting some valuable time in goal with those excused absences for Labe. It's a member of the Spirit Reserve squad in 2016. Did actually have one start with the Western New York Flash back in 2014, so she's waited quite a while for her turn.
I feel like that's the case with so many goalkeepers, right? You've always got to be a backpack for so long, a backup, excuse me. And then when you get your chance, you grab it, you hold on to it, and you make a coach not regret giving you that start.
A lot on the line for Portland in this match as they want to make their push toward the playoffs. One team already in, that's the North Carolina Courage, who picked up a win in comeback fashion over this Washington team on Wednesday to clinch the first playoff spot. Have a chance to clinch a home berth if they can get a result on Sunday.
I believe it was 2 goals for Washington from 6 shots in that matchup.
Yes, it was. That's efficient, isn't it?
Beautiful.
That's the fewest amount of shots in a multi-goal game for any team this year in the NWSL. And North Carolina in that 3-2 win, getting 2 goals from Jess McDonald. That had to boost her confidence as she popped back up into sole possession of number 2 on the all-time scoring chart in the league. As for this game, Portland sitting in second place at the moment, 37 points, 5 behind North Carolina's 42. Top 2 teams will host in the playoffs. Here's Bonini. Shayna Williams crossing, but into empty space until Kleiner will come in and collect. Henry there defensively for Portland, but Washington still pressing. Shayna Williams was waiting for it. Here goes Williams, and she wants a corner.
And so good by both these teams. You got Shayna Williams trying to get around the edge, serve the box, but look at Portland with Klingenberg winning that first ball and cover not far behind in Mangus. Excellent defending as a team and individually.
Adriana Franch, 8 shutouts on the season. That's the best in the NWSL. After somewhat of a shaky start, she has been fantastic down the stretch for this Portland team. Washington wanting to play it short. Didasco flubbed that opportunity.
And Washington says, why not go 2v2 with Bonini and Pugh at that corner flag? Both players so creative, good on the ball. Earn themselves another corner kick. But at some point, you got to get a service off and at least challenge this Portland team.
See what Mallory Pugh does with it this time. She will serve it in, a low bouncing ball, not a great one for her teammates to do much with. Loads of space and great effort from Nadim to catch up with the ball. Can Portland and Nadia Nadim make something of this? Maybe looking to work with Sinclair, but well defended in the end by Washington. So many pieces to this Portland attack, while Washington's bench is thinner than thin. What was it, 4 field players that Jim Gabarra has available on the bench? Just the opposite for Portland as they're coming into form. Really finding their rhythm. That was the message this week. Speaking to Lindsey Horan, who's on the ball now. She'll take a shot and force Herachich into a save.
When you talk about depth and you're bringing Allie Long off the bench in the last 2 matches, that tells you something. A national team center mid, starting center mid typically. And now you have to move her into a different role to get her on the field with Razzo out. And they have a lot of moving parts, and we'll see how this team progresses and who fits in those spots the best. Without Razzo, you miss that pace up top, that work ethic for 90 minutes to just stretch a back line.
You see that game, Houston-Seattle has been moved to Dallas. That's tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern time. And remember that fans in the Dallas-Fort Worth area can purchase tickets at fcdallas.com/tickets or call 888-FCD-GOAL. Proceeds from that match will benefit the American Red Cross Hurricane Harvey Relief Fund. You can also text Harvey to 90999 to donate $10 and try to help that area of the country which is in such dire need of support at the moment. Klingenberg will play it back to French. Amandine Henry gives it right back to Lindsey Horan, the U.S. international.
And just a good look at Washington's line of pressure. They're sitting even below the top of that center circle, and when they choose to confront Portland.
Nadim doing the confronting now, hits it too far out in front of Klingenberg. And you see what they had in mind.
Yeah, but Washington's doing a nice job of just keeping the lines tight. I mean, like I said, their line of pressure is low. It's allowing these seams between the lines to be much tighter. So if you do in fact break it, you've got to get the timing right as you step out of that back line with that slip ball played through. And in that case, it's just overcooked. Sometimes that pressure will do it.
Washington actually with the better of the possession so far in this match, 58% over Portland, and that's against a team in the Thorns that is tied for first in the league, along with Orlando in terms of possession on the season.
But I feel as the way the season has gone, they've stepped away from the imperative of holding the ball as much. They're more direct, they're fine, they're comfortable playing with that up-tempo, looking to get in behind quicker and allowing other teams into the match. The Chicago match, for instance, against Portland, they didn't have the run of possession, and this Washington team is very capable of keeping it, and that's going to be key today for them to save their legs.
Whitney Church, former Penn State Nittany Lion, sent the ball, and she'll get it back. Portland talks so much, Allie, about the rhythm they feel that they have found, but I think they've had trouble finding a rhythm so far in this match.
And credit to Washington when they're choosing to press and lock Portland in on a side. When we talked to Jim Gabarra before the match kicked off, it was about keeping the seams between the lines tight, and that's where Sinclair likes to get the ball. That's where Allie Long likes to get the ball. So if you make it a little more uncomfortable in those moments, can Portland make the right decisions? Well, they haven't yet.
Here's Christine Sinclair, Canada's all-time leading scorer, back to French international Henry. Ashley Sykes, 3 nations represented in that passing sequence, which will result in the first quarter of the match for the Thorns.
And that's much better from Portland, just changing the point. They hadn't done that in the attacking third yet. They get it to this near side with Sykes. She sizes up 1v1, no cover. earns her team the corner kick.
Klingenberg will come over to take it. A lot of targets in there for Portland. Allie Long, certainly one of them, along with Lindsey Horan. Driven ball from Klingenberg. Washington wanting to move it out with some pace. It's Pugh leading the way. A leading ball. Gets Bonini into the action. Another switch to Huster. Good work here from Washington. The shot from Tori Huster. And the save from Franch.
And this is very well done by Washington, in particular Pugh and Bonini. There's only a gap to play that in, to lead Bonini into space. Pugh hits it perfectly, and then Bonini, this ball across, that's potentially a dangerous ball, but she hits it perfectly well. And then that shot, a little bit optimistic from that distance from Huster, but nonetheless a good break for Washington there, and an imprint of what they want to do in this match.
That ball making it all the way to Sinclair's foot, who nearly settled it down for Nadim. Salon to Pugh. You really do applaud the effort of this Washington team on many levels, one of which being that this is their third match in a week. Coming out pretty fresh. How long can they sustain it may be the question. 5 players who went the full 90 the previous 2 matches.
And trust me, there's motivation in playing for pride and in playing to not give other teams results at this point in the season. And here's a look at Franch. She goes to ground with it. I think it's a bit more comfortable than she makes it look, but she's secure with her hands. Holds on.
Adriana Franch, 26 years old, former Oklahoma State Cowgirl. #1 all-time there in shutouts, and just recently got past an all-time goals against average for her career in the NWSL. Caitlin Rowland for North Carolina taking over that spot, although I will say in quite a fewer number of games. Nadim tripped up, waiting for the whistle. There it is. And she'll play it quickly, trying to get it behind. Allie Long is being held, there's no question. And it will be a penalty. Moments like this have also, unfortunately, been a part of Washington's season. Now a yellow card coming out. Dissent perhaps from Hericic after the fact.
Well, look, this was all a heads-up moment here from Nadia Nadim. Sinclair is making the run, but that ball's for Allie Long all the way. And sure enough, Hericic looks like she gets that leg extended and trips up Long with the brilliantly timed run in behind. As much as the lines have been tight for Washington, it took 2 passes. One to Sinclair, who withdrew, and then one to Nadim, who earned the foul.
Nadim,
set piece.
3 for 3 from the penalty spot this season. She'll put the young Hericic to the test. Try to give the Thorns the lead. Nadim, the save from Hericic, but the rebound right back in the net.
And you said it earlier, Jen. The foul was one of those that was exemplary of the way the season has gone for Washington. As you see Hericic clip Allie Long there. But I think it's more this penalty that spells it out all. Nadim gets the first one saved, poorly taken, but then the rebound bounces fortuitously to Nadim, and she can just put that away simply with that inside of the foot pass. And no players from Washington close enough to follow up and make a play on Nadim there on that second attempt.
Any question in your mind as to whether that should have been a penalty?
No, absolutely not. So
Nadim does have her first miss officially from the penalty mark on the season, but the rebound, as you said, fortuitously falling right to her feet, and she gets the goal, gives her team the lead. 5th goal of the season for Nadim, who's really just starting to get back into the swing of things after she was out for an extended period of time at the European Championships. Denmark making it to the final for the first time. Here's Christine Sinclair, setting herself up perhaps, and she'll take the corner.
And this is a wrinkle that can come with Ali Long playing her high up on the field. Just a simple little flick ball there. Sinclair runs off of her, earns her team another corner kick.
Christine Sinclair, 3-time Olympian for Canada, one of the most decorated women's soccer players in the history of the sport for Team Canada. Played collegiately right here at Portland, and now is certainly a well-deserved fan favorite among the Thorns fans. Klingenberg, a little more lofted this time. Lee Menges. Now to Nadim. Trying to get this Washington backline out of sorts. Sinclair one-times it into the back of the net.
And just too easy for the Thorns. You can see the lines are all a mess right now from Washington as they're trying to figure out where to hold, where not to. Nadim is clearly onside. This ball in behind, no one's picking up Sinclair. Catches Zadorsky, I believe, with that first touch. Goes against her momentum as she beats her. And it's not a great first touch. Harichich thinks she's gonna come out, cut down that angle, but Sinclair just hits it perfect. Half volley to see that one home.
6th goal of the season for Christine Sinclair, who has played all but 17 minutes this season. An incredible effort she's been able to put in, the 34-year-old for the Thorns.
And has really come to life as her role has changed throughout the season, playing in that deeper mid spot.
Mallory Pugh trying to get to the end line, which she did quite a bit in the last meeting between these two teams back in July. Portland won that meeting, but Pugh was really, if you'll excuse the pun, a thorn in their sides for much of that game.
You've been waiting to say that.
You know, I really wasn't. It just came to me. I don't know if that's better or worse. 3rd quarter of the match for Washington. Headed out. The 2nd ball will go to Pugh. Bonini pulling the strings. Trio of defenders getting in her way. Falls to Salon. And Bonini back to collect it. Havana Salon. Emily Sonnet in her face there to take away the ball. Doherty Howard's touch goes to Haran. Now Nadim. Some excellent passing going on with the Thorns. Nadim maybe trying one too many, couldn't get it around 2 defenders. And slips out of bounds, but what a boost Nadia Nadim has been able to give back in the starting lineup.
I mean, early in the season, yes, I thought she was important to this team, but her confidence seems to be different since she's returned from the Euros. Taking on a bit more active and perhaps getting some of her urgency from the way Razzo plays, from the way that she's been able to spark Portland in their more direct style. I know she's a player that likes the ball at her feet, but bringing that other quality to make those defenders guess, are you coming, are you going?
And that goal for Nadim was her first in quite a while. Last one was May 19th. All 4 of her goals prior to that one had come in the first 6 games. So you talked about how big she was early. Remember that 3 of those first 4 were from the penalty spot.
And technically that one was. I know it won't go down in the books as it is.
Portland leading Washington 2-0 in the first half here from Providence Park, Portland, Oregon. Our NWSL Game of the Week on Lifetime. Jen Hildreth, two-time Olympic gold medalist Allie Wagner, Dallin Cuff here with you. It's 4 weeks of games remaining, including this one in the NWSL regular season.
And you'd have to say Portland Thorns most improved, most evolved throughout this season. The way they changed their style. They wanted to play a certain way. It really wasn't clicking. And now they're firing on all cylinders.
Doherty Howard under some pressure, couldn't get rid of it quick enough. And then Lindsey Horan, who is the most fouled player in the NWSL, will collect another one here.
And Horan's been a massive player for this team, and the reason that they're jump-starting their attack late on, and you can just see her work there. I mean, she puts it in defensively, and then she tries to solve it offensively. It's very hard to switch your gears in those moments. When you go to ground and then you have to get up and solve it, she's very comfortable in those moments.
Megan Klingenberg standing over the ball, former North Carolina Tar Heel. Washington, the only players around it. You talked about that form evolving for Portland. We'll talk a little bit more about that, including some players who you could see coming back for the Thorns. Hydration break coming up.
Sarah, could you come in here?
Yep, coming. Oh, wow. What kind of underwear are those?
They're breathable underwear from Fruit of the Loom.
What are those?
Guys.
They're breathable underwear from Fruit of the Loom.
Yes, they have these tiny holes to let the air through. Can you help me?
Wow, well, we will look at those.
Can you feel this?
Yeah. Turn around for me. Seriously?
Slower. Go slower.
Okay?
I don't think you should get that dress. It doesn't fit.
Stay cool with breathable underwear from Fruit of the Loom.
Home Again is unquestionably the feel-good movie of 2017.
Hi.
It's the best romantic comedy in years.
How old are you? Like 30? 29? 28?
Something like that.
Reese Witherspoon has never been better.
What are you doing here?
It's an instant classic.
Did you tell Dad about your play?
When is it again? Next Friday.
This crazy turn of events, it's made me realize everything works out the way it's supposed to.
Home Again, rated PG-13.
It's the Wild for Fall sale at Pier 1 Imports. Now through Labor Day, thousands of brand new fall finds are on sale. Go wild over cozy, crisp, colorful finds that'll make your home one of a kind. The Wild for Fall sale, now through Labor Day at Pier 1 Imports.
Welcome to the no pressure zone. Carl, have you met everyone? You see, time is just a construct of human perception, an illusion, like this one.
Help! I can't breathe!
Which means there's no pressure to get a great rate on a hotel. They're available for an unlimited time, always. So book now, or don't. No pressure.
Olay Eyes. New deep hydrating eye gel with hyaluronic acid. Born to outperform the #1 prestige eye cream for better hydration and your best look yet. Olay Eyes Collection. Ageless.
I can taste it. I can taste it. Taste it.
Get the kids off their screens. Go jump on trampolines. Kids will be bored real soon. Let's bowl this afternoon. Use Groupon and you'll save on things you do every day.
Download the app and save. Groupon.
Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? No, sir, no, sir. Some nincompoop stole all my wool sweaters, smart TV, and gaming system. Luckily, the Geico Insurance Agency recently helped Baba with renter's insurance. Everything stolen was replaced. and the hooligan who lives down the lane was caught selling the stolen goods online. Visit geico.com and see how easy it is to switch and save on renter's insurance.
Nadia Nadim, Christine Sinclair goals 3 minutes apart have the Thorns leading the Spirit 2-0 as we are coming out of our first hydration break. Portland looking to make a push for the playoffs. They can clinch a spot with a win and a loss or a tie by Sky Blue against Kansas City tomorrow. But Allie, we've talked about the rhythm that this Portland team feels that it has been building throughout the season and wanted to keep that going. Had some big news this week. Tobin Heath activated for the first time this season. Haven't seen her all year. And Mark Parsons saying it might be a couple of weeks, but he anticipates we will see Tobin Heath before the season is over.
Well, it's a little ironic, isn't it? The style that they developed early on in the season was really to benefit from the presence of a Tobin Heath sitting in those outside channels, playmaking, able to solve pressure. And then they switched to this higher tempo, a little more direct play without her, and they become to life as a team and become more potent offensively. And now they're going to get her back. You know, how do you bring her into the fold?
Turnover here gives the ball to Shannon Williams, who is attempting to link up with Benini. Yeah, I think that's an excellent question. I think Mark Parsons agreed that was an excellent question. He said, we've got a couple of weeks to try to figure that out, because Tobin is a special player, U.S. Soccer's Female Athlete of the Year in 2016, member of the best 11 last year, leading the Thorns with 10 assists. That led the entire league, in fact.
Well, look, I don't think Parsons was crying over this problem.
No.
It's a wonderful problem to have.
A chance here from the set piece for Washington and Havana Solon. Driven ball bounces, and Franch is there.
And that's actually a decent ball. It was just the lack of runners that didn't make that worthwhile. And there's a look at Tobin Heath. Cool in the shade. That's what happens when you come play for the Portland Thorns. You get your own box when you're sitting out matches. You don't even need the sunglasses.
Saw Dagny Brynjestadter was up there with her as well. Dagny, a late scratch. Found out this morning. The Icelandic and former Florida State midfielder now yellow on the field as Benini taken down.
And here's a look at the challenge just from behind by Reynolds on Benini as she's trying to spin her. Certainly catches her.
Kat Reynolds appearing in just her 7th match this season for Portland. But an incredibly important player along that back line has just jumped right into that starting lineup where she was a year ago.
We'll see if Solon serves that same ball and they can get some early runners this time.
There is the service. Huster was in the vicinity. Now Doherty Howard. Clearance is not the best so far for Portland. Can Washington make them pay for it? That attempt is not going to be enough to Beth Franch.
And that's where players have to be smarter in the final third. You have about 6 Portland players clogging up the center of the park, hitting it from that distance. You're not able to turn on it, get any sort of power. Just keep it.
Nadim was trying to curl her run around the outside. Mangus a little off the mark. Allie Long trying to get to it, but the offside flag will call her back.
What's so fascinating about this Portland attack is that you don't have any real pacey players up top. Allie Long, one of them, she's a few yards offside. I think she's not used to finding herself in those positions.
Tickets to the 2017 NWSL Championship are currently on sale with prices starting at $20. The championship will be held at Orlando City Stadium on Saturday, October 14th. Broadcast live right here on Lifetime Thank you, France, for taking that opportunity away. Kickoff will be announced at a later date, the time of the kickoff, that is, and you can log on to nwslchampionship.com for more information. Back and forth action here at Providence Park, headed down by Nadim. Long eventually gets it back to Sinclair. A little too high.
And that's why this attack is so fascinating to me. You get this ball laid back by Ali Long. The shot's high, yes, but it was players who make smart decisions in the final third. It was Nadia trying to play that into Ali Long, who was in a better spot than she was. And then Ali Long realizing she couldn't hit it first time, so she holds on to it, allows time for Sinclair to join in the attack.
Sinclair heads it down for Nadim. Nadim the shot, and Herachich had come out. Good thing she did.
Bear was worried about the space between the lines, but right now it's all Portland getting behind the lines with their perfect timing. I mean, that ball's off of a goal kick. One play they're in. Herachich does well to come off and cut down the angle.
Klingenberg's service, a little more driven, flicked, and then it does go into the goal despite a valiant effort from Huster. What a setup from Klingenberg on that one.
Mark Parsons said he wanted to keep this train rolling. It sure is. This ball is whipped in, curled in fact, by Klingenberg. It's that first ball at the near post. The redirection, it's hard to get a look at it if that's Kat Reynolds, who gets this first touch on it, and then Nadim shield to Herachich, and that all comes together, and Huster can't do anything about it.
Being told, Allie, it is Emily Sonnet getting the credit for that goal, if that is in fact the case. Third of the season for the defender, and it is confirmed by our officials in our production truck.
Well, thank you for that, because it looked like Reynolds to me, but
it was tough to see.
Brilliant redirection nonetheless. And that looks scripted, that near post flick, so well executed.
Portland really pouring it on here now. 3 goals in the first half, looking strong in their bid to win their 6th in a row at home. Take a step closer to the playoffs. Nadim, another beautiful header. Ali Long trying to get to it, but the first touches from Nadim, Sinclair, when they're getting into that final third, have been fantastic.
And the decision making, it's all been very good. It's clicking, as they told us on the call, and we see it today. The timing, everything is right on from this Portland team. There's a lot of movement before the ball arrives, whether it's underneath or pulling the space behind. It's pretty to watch. You got to feel for Washington right now.
Klingenberg, long, offside. Reminder that coming up at halftime, we have a very emotional interview with Washington Spirit goalkeeper Stephanie Labe, who opens up about the journey she has had dealing with some of the mental and emotional challenges of being a goalkeeper. This is her 3rd match away from the Spirit. The official announcement saying that it is an excused absence, and we don't want to speculate as to why, but I promise you want to stick around and hear this story. Very brave of Labe to open up about some of her struggles.
And really important.
Henry trying to pick out Sykes. Now Sinclair. Sykes. All the way to Nadim. Portland has seemed very confident in that final third. Mark Parsons saying his message to the team, despite having missed some opportunities that perhaps they shouldn't have. They're 7th in shooting accuracy, which is not where they want to be, but he said, I don't want them to overthink. I just want to keep telling them, be creative, make another creative pass, get yourself a look once you get there.
Yeah, but I love what he said next. If that doesn't work, then I'm going to start harping on him.
Kleiner didn't let that ball through a second time. Mallory Pugh to Williams. Some quick passing here, gets through to Pugh. She'll take the shot herself.
And that was so well constructed by Washington, by Pugh in particular. I mean, she was just pulling the strings with a nice little 1-2. Salon lets that one through. But there's where the decision perhaps has to be different. You get that runner going far post, try to play her in, at least put it at that far post so you can get someone running across it if you miss.
13th appearance of the season for Mallory Pugh. Remember that she came in late after announcing that she was going to bypass her collegiate career. She's headed to UCLA, but instead came to the NWSL. The ball from Sinclair to pick out Klingenberg. She stays with it. One move, the shot off the crossbar. Klingenberg playing with a little fire on that far side this afternoon.
And she found herself in acres of space, and it's all Sinclair who leads her into that gap. And then she cuts back in on that right foot, tries to have a curler, doesn't miss by much. Look at the trajectory of that one. Doesn't dip enough, but nice out to in swing on it.
No goals this season for Klingenberg. She does have 5 assists. Leads the team. And she's a player who is not called into Jill Ellis's roster for the Tournament of Nations for the U.S. Has over 70 international appearances for the red, white, and blue. Allie Long the target on that ball. It falls to the feet of Sinclair, who seems to have, either she or Nadim always seem to be in the right spot where that second ball falls in this first half.
And that's just player intelligence. You think it's accidental.
Beniti, the wonderful ball for Salon. That's just tough defensive presence by Sonnet in Portland. Salon into the area, skies it across and out of bounds.
When your shot goes out for a throw, and it's not a good start to the day.
Rose City Riveters always providing a wonderful soundtrack, and this crowd here filling looks like just about every seat. We were told before the game they expected a sellout today. Providence Park and the Portland Thorns proudly boast, and why not, the most well-attended women's professional sporting team in any sport in the world.
Fantastic environment. I mean, this is where every player wants to play. When you get to lace up those boots and come out to this, it just lifts you.
Portland averaging just under 17,000 fans a game last season. They've led the league every year, as you might expect. And their team has given them plenty to cheer for. Last season, Portland won the Shield for the first time. That wound up losing in a semifinal match that was epic here against the Western New York Flash, 4-3 in overtime. Western New York going on to win the 2016 NWSL Championship. Portland won the inaugural NWSL title back in 2013. Now sitting in second, trying to keep pace with the first place North Carolina Courage. In case you missed it, 4 minutes of stoppage time added on to this first half. And you could tell maybe Allie Long a little uncomfortable in that position as she's been caught offside. I think that's the 3rd time in this first half.
And she's finding herself in good spaces between the defenders. It's just having the awareness to look down the line and keep herself on side.
Sun may be causing a little bit of trouble as that ball came down. There's not much relief from it out there.
I mean, look at how many red jerseys, Jen, are around those Spirit attackers. 3 or 4 attackers, but you've got 7 Portland Thorns recovering back in, keeping it tight. It's been very hard for Washington to break it down.
First 10-15 minutes or so, I think we both were really impressed with the fight and effort and really overall play of Washington in this match. Just had some trouble sustaining it as Portland found its way into the game. Thorns now with 3 goals in the first half. Have to be feeling fairly comfortable here at home. There is the first half whistle. The Portland Thorns leading Washington 3-0 after the first 45 minutes. Stick around. We have a wonderful interview with Washington Spirit goalkeeper Stephanie Labe that you do not want to miss. That's coming up at the half. You're watching the NWSL on Lifetime.